I'd like to call the Planning Commission meeting to order. It's 6:31. First order of business is a moment of silence and then the Pledge of Allegiance.
Certainly, Madam Chairwoman. Ms. Townsend, Ms. Butler, Mr. Moyer, Ms. Pearson,
Here.
Ms. Thomas,
Here.
Mr. La Rochelle,
Here.
Dr. Schmidt,
Here.
Mr. Davis,
Here.
Mr. Bennett,
Here.
Mr. Tiller, and Ms. Rose.
Here.
Thank you. We have 7 present, Madam Chairwoman, so we do have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll move on to the approval of the June 21st, 2021 meeting minutes. Are there any corrections, questions, anything for Ms. Wood?
Madam Chair, I have a couple corrections. Page 17 of 20, first paragraph, second sentence or line. A core must be I believe the word should be collection of or single parcel. And then the following line, Mr. Johnson's parcel should have an apostrophe just to show possession.
Any others?
Madam Chair, if there be no other edits or additions or corrections, I suggest or I move that the minutes be accepted as presented and edited. Okay.
On page 3, paragraph 7, and I'm counting paragraphs as even where there's a single line. So it's in the paragraph. Ms. Rose had issue with the word determination, but Mr. Ranji clarified by explaining, not explained. Then on page 4, on paragraph 2, let's see, there, the paragraph that starts off Ms. Leduc, the last sentence, she stated the county was ready. It should be was not ready for a rewrite. Then page 5, paragraph 3. Mr. Bennett expressed concern. And last one, page 6, paragraph 9. It starts off, Mr. Moyer, and the phrase in advance of apply should be applying. And that was it. Any other comments? Hearing none.
Madam Chair, I make the same motion that we accept the minutes as edited and presented today.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes, to approve the June 21st, 2021 minutes as edited by the Planning Commission members tonight. How say you, Ms. Pearson? Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Bennett?
Aye.
Dr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. LaRochelle?
Abstain.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Rose?
Aye.
Thank you.
Now is the time for the citizen comment period. Has there been anyone that signed up? Let the record show there was no one signed up for the citizen comment period. Are there any other presentations on the agenda? And seeing no unfinished business, we can move right to the scheduled public hearings. So with that, I will turn it over to the public hearing vice chair, and she will open the first public hearing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we have 4 public hearings before us. Each has been properly advertised for tonight's consideration. Let me take a moment to review the procedures that we will use for tonight's hearings. Each public hearing will be considered separately. Staff will give a brief overview of the hearing that is before us. The sponsor of the case will be given an opportunity to make a presentation. Commissioners will be given an opportunity to ask questions of the sponsors or staff for clarification purposes. I will then open the citizens' comment portion of the public hearing and receive your comments. Sign-up sheets are located on the desk by the front doors of the administration building. I ask the following. You come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, address your comments to the commission, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. When the timer sounds, please conclude your remarks. Please note that the commission members will not answer your questions during the citizen comment period, but will certainly take those questions and comments into consideration during the deliberation period of the public hearing. The first public hearing is application PUD-01-21, Farms of New Kent Land Bay 1 PUD amendment.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I'm just going to give a brief overview of the application before you and then turn it over to Mr. Horsley and his associates. Representatives from New Kent Farms LLC have requested an amendment to the Farms of New Kent Planned Unit Development Ordinance to allow for half-acre lots in a certain area within Land Bay 1. The legal description and an exhibit of the area can be found in your packet. There are several environmental features and sensitive areas located within this parcel, and the smaller lots would better utilize the parcel's developable land while minimizing impacts to those areas. This amendment would not increase the maximum amount of lots currently allowed in Land Bay 1. This request was reviewed by all county and state reviewing agencies, and their comments can be found in your staff report. Staff has received numerous phone calls and emails from the public regarding this application, which were either attached to the staff report in your packet or placed at your seats tonight. I'd like to introduce Mr. Patrick Horsley and his associates to give a brief presentation, and I'll be here to answer any questions. All right, there's the arrow. You're welcome.
Hey, thank y'all for having us. My name is Patrick Horsley, long life member and resident of New Kent County. I've called Venaterra home for over 10 years. I recently became, about 2 years ago, a development partner within Venaterra when we purchased all of 80 some lots from New Kent Farms, LLC. A little history about Venaterra, brief history. It was conceptualized by Pete Johns in 2005. New Kent Farms, LLC secured about $85 million of CDA money to widen Route 106 and bring water and sewer to exit 211. Ground started moving in 2008 as real estate market began to crash. The developers of the Four Seasons, the Arbors, and the commercial property defaulted on their CDA payment, and the land was taken back by the bondholders. New Kent Farms, LLC remained current on its CDA obligations and continues to do so. In 2016, the defaulted bonds from the other developers were purchased by Preston Hollow. In 2018, New Kent Farms, LLC sold all of the developed lots to PhD Holdings, which is my company, and 118 cottage villa undeveloped lots to Reese Brooks Land Company, as well as a 29-lot section in the estates to Reese Brooks Land Company. In 2020, Reese Brooks Land Company started construction on the cottages and plans to break ground on multiple homes in the next couple of months. Reese Brooks Land Company is owned by Jeff Tunstall, and he's also the applicant for this PUD request. Oh, it went away, Kelly. Sorry, I talked too much beforehand.
I know it's kind of wonky. There we go. Do you want to talk about this one next?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I went ahead and
Just don't move it.
all right, don't move it. Okay. All right. So these are the major development spaces within Venaterra. In the dark red, you can see the acre lots that are currently developed. In the light green are our villa lots. Those are 1/4 acre to 0.4 acre, and they're a landscape maintained section that is currently developed. In the dark blue section, you'll see that is an acre plus estate section. That's the 28 lots that Reese Brooks bought in 2019. And then you'll see in the top corner is of the orange. That is future Venaterra estate lots. They're acre plus. And those all come through the current gatehouse right there that you can see pictured. So the entrance to that will all be through there. As you can see, the teal section, that is the current cottage and section that is being developed, and the roads are basically in and getting ready to begin models and that sort of thing into that section. And then you can see in the light blue area, that is the parcel that we are trying to request to have moved from acre lots to half-acre lots minimum. And those all would enter into right where the Welcome Center is currently, which is where the arrow is pointing now. By the numbers, so currently proposed behind the current gate, and they would all be acre lots except for the current villa section. The current villa section is the 0.25 to 0.4 acre section up front. The proposed total behind the current gate is 187. The proposed behind the other entrance would be 263 lots. So the total maximum density approved by the county, and we understand it is the maximum density, doesn't have to be met, but the total approved is 455. Total proposed, even with the half-acre lots, is 450. If we platted the acre lots without getting into RPA and everything else into that section, it would probably be about 65 lots less. So the benefits of the half-acre lots, from what we see, there was a petition that went around the neighborhood about 2 years ago that were for half-acre lots. The big thing we went back and looked at, the big thing that the current residents that had created the petition, they had said that they would be okay with as long as they were clustered. And they weren't intermingled between the acre plus lots. So currently, you can see here now it is separated by the golf course. So we feel like we've done a good job in expressing that concern and having it as a certain cluster. It doesn't interconnect in between the current estate lots. We feel that this allows these three sizes of clustered lots, allows it to be able to be in different markets and facilitate residential and amenity development. We feel like it helps open more space for trails and neighborhood enjoyment. It allows for development to get closer to the maximum density allowed, which will also help for people paying into the association. There'll be more people to pay into the association, take care of the amenities and the maintenance of the roads. With the lots being separated by the golf course, it definitely makes a more secluded entrance, and you'll have less supply of acre lots, which in my opinion, less supply means you have less competition down the road. Your values would increase through that point. From there on, from here, I'm going to leave it to Cindy Jez. She's been in the real estate market for over 30 years in the Richmond area. She has worked with some of the largest builders and developers in the area, and hopefully she can put some light on kind of value-wise and what she believes would happen in the developments.
Don't touch the mouse. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. And that picture is only 5 years old, even though it might look a little older right now. Patrick asked me to speak a little bit about my experience with new home community development in the Greater Richmond area. And as he said, I've been in the real estate industry for 30 years, involved very much with the development of new home communities, and have worked with numerous developers throughout the area in all the counties of the Greater Richmond area. Most planned unit developments in the Richmond area are designed with different lot sizes, features, and/or entrances to offer a wide variety of housing options for today's consumer. The construction price per square foot is not necessarily impacted with the differential in lot size. The construction cost remains the construction cost per square foot, regardless of the size of the lot. Acre plus lots are not always the most desirable lot due to maintenance issues per market studies with consumers today. Having a diverse product and/or lot mix allows for more move-up opportunities within a community. We oftentimes see that the housing market will allow for people to either have their kids live in the same area that they live in, or the grandparents to move into perhaps one of the maintenance-free cottage-style homes and support the families. We're seeing a lot more of that in today's marketplace. We're also seeing a lot more relocation buyers due to the remote potential of many workers today. Building activity is always a positive sign within a neighborhood. So the more activity that is going on in terms of new construction, we feel in the real estate community allows neighborhoods to grow, and current residents will often derive the benefit of a neighborhood being completed on a quicker timetable. The more rooftops we get in, the more businesses we have and can support those rooftops. Homebuyer preference drives our market very much in working with our builder and developer clients. And generally in the homebuyer preference, it is for half-acre or less size lots. The acre plus is definitely more of a niche market. What that does within a community too, though, is it increases the value of those acre-plus lots typically because there are fewer of them. So supply and demand once again. And also I had the opportunity to work very closely with East West Partners. They developed the Halsley neighborhood, and I was involved with them in that development. And Halsley, which is located in Chesterfield County, was awarded the Community of the Year in 2017 by the National Association of Home Builders. In the presentation of that award, the judging committee cited the diversity of the product and a rich amenity package as the major contributing assets of that neighborhood. So that's a little overview of my take on how neighborhood development takes place in the greater Richmond area. Thank you.
Hello, that's me. I am Jeff Tunstall. I apologize, my wife put this together. So, I'm from Mechanicsville, Virginia, born and raised. I am not related to Puddin' Tunstall, who is a famous New Kent rodeo. Because every time I come to New Kent, everybody asks me, "Am I related to Puddin' Tunstall?" And I have to say no. But I am the owner of Reese Brooks Land. I also am the market president for Craftmaster Homes and Pierrencrest Custom Homes. If I could go back, how do I go back on the slide? I apologize. Nope, nope.
Yep. It's the second from the top.
Okay.
And then do that again.
Every time?
Yes.
Okay. Not sure which one you can see better, but we'll try with this one here. But as Patrick stated earlier, and I'm not going to repeat everything he says, I do own this piece here, which is the cottages and villas. It's 67 acres of land. We have begun the development of it, and we actually have recorded the first phase, which is 58 lots. We broke it into 2 phases. So the first phase comes about halfway, just strictly with the cottages. And then I also own the blue, dark blue, 29 estate lots. And we have submitted construction plans to the county, have received back from the Planning Commission the first round of comments, and have submitted back those comments. So hopefully we have answered all the questions there and can move forward and soon be developing that piece by late this year, early into next year. So I'm heavily invested in Venaterra. I have appreciated being a part of Venaterra, and I look forward to the growth of Venaterra. During our development, we also put in 8,000 linear feet of sewer line, which doesn't sound very exciting, but it was a great task, and it actually comes from the cottages and goes all the way to the pump house. That was needed to just suffice the cottages, but also will eventually be utilized on the light blue area that we are talking about tonight, whether it's half acre or acre. So I have nothing but wants and desires for this project to go well. I am heavily, heavily, heavily invested in making sure that both developments that I am doing with respect to the cottages and 18 villas at the end of our piece for 118 lots and the 29 estate lots succeed. And I would never want to do anything to disgrace anyone's property value. Trust me, I want the property values to go up, which will be beneficial not only to hopefully my buyers and homeowners, but also the rest of the community. But that is pretty much where we are. The 145 half-acre lots cannot be developed until I get my road done to get there currently. I know there has been some discussions on a second entrance onto Old Church Road. I would be in favor of that if we could get that approved. I do believe a second entrance would be beneficial to our community and to the safety for emergency and also just general ingress, egress, school buses and things of that nature. So I'm not going to take any more time because there's a lot of people here, and I'm sure they want to speak and so forth, but I do appreciate y'all's time tonight.
Any questions from the commission or staff?
I do have a couple of questions regarding the current development and the proposed future development with regards to lot sizes. And I'm not sure which one can answer the best, better to these couple questions. Do you have an approximate size as to what the estate lots are is on an average? I know it's over an acre, but I'm sure there's some over an acre.
The current average is about 1.1, 1.2.
And the cottages?
Those are, the average is probably closer to 0.25, 0.3.
And then half acre lots, I know that the want is to get to a half acre, but based on that projection of subdividing that area, what's the average size of those lots?
So the layout the layout that we presented on this on that layout there as designed is 30 the maximum width lot is 183 feet. The average is 97 feet wide. The minimum lot size is a half acre in that layout. The maximum lot size is 1.12 acres with an average of 0.6 acres in that particular layout.
I was reviewing the preliminary subdivision plan of that area, at least the best I could tell from the information we provided. There seems to be some strong challenges in terrain in that area too.
Yes, sir.
It looks like to me that there's a possibility that somewhere around 10 to 15 of those lots would be significantly challenged with terrain. How could those be best developed and still have half acre?
As even where it is set, and yes, you're correct. There are lots. The topography on that parcel, and really all of Land Bay 1 to a point, it has proved some difficulties over the years. But Jeff can he can build on probably one of the worst lots if he to figure out the design, the basement lies. At the way that some of the acres were designed, they were 1-story houses that were going to have a 3-story basement. That originally was in the development, and nobody wants to look at that. I mean, there's really no way to design something like that and make it look right.
Extend my questioning a little bit more. In the estate area, I know you won't have specific numbers, but could you identify what the average home price would be today?
The average home price in Ventura is about $750,000, $800,000.
And the cottages would be?
The cottages, I think, what's your average going to be, you think? Be over $400,000.
And then projected for the half acre?
Projected for the half acre, that would be your question?
Okay.
If today's lumber prices maintain.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So at the beginning of your presentation, I heard that this development has been around for a while, 10 years.
It has, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so for the folks that's already living in the community, did they buy into the community thinking that this would be 1-acre lots?
Yes. It's approved as acre lots. It's approved that it's acre lots. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So currently now you have, I guess, a community full of people who originally bought in thinking that the rest of the community would be 1-acre lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, one other question.
Yeah.
You guys are still, I hear that you're developers, so this community is under developers' control until when?
Until I believe it's 90% or something along those lines.
So within that time, if we decided to change this 1-acre lot to 0.5, if you decide that you want to change again, you could do that because they're still under developer's control.
We could come back to the board, and I have a feeling that we would get turned down.
Okay.
I mean, it's not just we're asking for that one parcel. We're not asking for the other parcels. So no, we could not do that throughout.
Okay.
Could you advance? Do you have a better illustration of that?
I don't here. I wish I could zoom in, but I don't know if I can really zoom in on this thing. If I had my Mac, I could.
You put your mic on.
On the drawing show it as sorry. On this drawing, you've got red arrows pointing to areas that are difficult to develop.
Yes, sir.
So what's going to happen to those areas? Are they going to become common area for the neighborhood? Are they going to be proper?
Common area, walking areas, and that sort of thing. If we get into acre lots, a lot of those steep spots will start becoming probably part of acre lots, and they'll get the lots will get elongated, which will eliminate some of the space, and the lots will probably get narrower, just to be able to get as much density as we can out of it.
But when you say walking trails, they'll be incorporated into the common area of the neighborhood?
Throughout, Jeff and I are going to go, we're actually walking probably next week and looking at different areas to address walking trails and stuff throughout.
So there would not be any further request to develop that land?
No, sir.
But one other question. Yeah. Just to apologies. He said there would be no. What was your last question?
No future request to develop this land.
Okay. But when
somebody could request it, but I guarantee nobody's going to, approve it. Somebody could technically request it, I guess. I don't want to say nobody can, definitely not, but somebody could, I guess. The PUD density won't allow us to increase any more land, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because right now it's 455 is the maximum density that can be built. Right now, with the way it's proposed, it's 450. So we're not getting to that maximum number, and we understand we're not technically it's a maximum number. But there's CDA money that's involved in these lots that need to be paid off as well through this process.
You mentioned a survey that the residents. You mentioned a survey that the residents had done a couple of years ago, I think is what you said, in favor of reducing lot size. Are any of those residents here that were in favor of that, or what's the prevailing opinion in the neighborhood now?
I'd really rather not answer that question, but there are. I mean, I am one. I signed the petition. So there.
My question is basically, so 10 years ago when the PUD was first approved with the 1 acre estate lots, it does, what you're showing this master plan, is it any way close to what it was when it was first approved?
It's changed a lot over the years as times change. I mean, a decade can do a lot to the real estate market, but Kelly, you can probably, it's definitely changed quite a bit.
I mean, if the original plan considered those 1 acre estate lots, I mean, obviously there had to be some idea, some layouts on how that was going to be accomplished in the size that you're dealing with. The terrain hasn't changed.
In 2014, there was a big stormwater regulation change that occurred. So these ponds and everything have to be a lot larger than they used to be. That's one of the reasons that have caused some of those declines in the ability to get these lots.
So the size of the, I guess, BMPs or
The BMPs have to be a lot larger because of the criteria that was implemented in 2014 by Virginia State.
And that's the blue areas.
Mr. Horsley, going back and how many discussions were held with the current residents there in Venaterra with regards to?
2018 has been quite a few discussions that have been going on. To be honest, we just recently we've had the opposition that has been placed in front of you. This wasn't around 2 years ago. So at first, when we were first submitting for application, we did not think we'd have the opposition. But now it's in place. I personally, I've got everybody in this room that's a resident of Venaterra has a huge financial investment in the community. I have one. Jeff has one. All the residents in here have a huge financial position. And I wouldn't want anything to hurt my value. I mean, like I said, I live there. I don't foresee this being an issue of that. You can make an acre lot narrower than a half acre lot and go deep and just have, it can just go into RPA and that sort of thing. But that's not what I think the development deserves. I feel like the nice wide lots are what we have currently.
Was this done mainly through polling, or was it like face-to-face?
We had face-to-face meetings. We had face-to-face meetings in 2019 and in 2018 as well.
Thank you.
Mr. Horsley, with the reduction in lot size, is there any anticipated covenant changes for the size of the houses?
No.
So the houses would still be a comparable minimum size?
Yes, ma'am. It's in the PUD. It's minimum 2,500 square feet.
Okay.
We're not requesting to change that.
Okay. Also, can you? I know I saw references to the second entrance. Can you explain that on that map a little bit more? With the original entrance, the only one that was going to service all of those areas.
That's what it is. It's that one. There's an emergency.
There is an emergency.
There's some residents that would like a second entrance, and we're not opposed to it, but it's not something at this time that we're asking for.
Okay.
Okay. No further questions. I will now formally open the public hearing for citizen comments from the list. First on the list is Dana Roman.
years, and it is a place that we have come to love and cherish. My one son went to New Kent High School, and we've had both boys living at home for a period of time. My husband has been active in the high school and the community, and we both have been active in the community as well. This is a place we call home each and every day. And we do have some considerations based on this recent PUD. The first and foremost one was that we didn't know about this. We came to find out about it after the recent meeting, and we got a notice that there had been a cancellation. If there have been meetings, I've been here for 6 years, there were some brief discussions at some point in time, potentially about some lots being a half acre somewhere, some shape or form. And it was, quote, because that will help us to get to the amenities. But to my knowledge, I never signed a petition. I never gave my consent for this. And I never sat in meetings which I and many of my fellow residents, to my knowledge, were in favor of this. Now, there may be some. I don't want to speak for everyone, but I personally and my husband did not. And how it's defined in the PUD, I don't know if you see it, but it says the estates, it says 1 acre, and then it's crossed out, and it says 1/2 acre. And while this may show that there's certain areas that they want to be 1/2 acre lots, I'm not comfortable with the fact that that's the only place, because Mr. Tunstall does own quite a few of the 1 acre estate lots. And the way that it's written in the PUD is not clarifying that these are the only areas. The second area that we have as a concern is certainly the home values, and that's because the architectural covenants they need to be consistent, and we haven't always seen that. And so we have a great concern that as we move forward within this area, that these architectural covenants are really what holds this home value, but it's also what New Kent had said, this is what we want within this area. And so when you start to see these changes, these subtle changes, then you wonder what's next. And if they said more people with more people paying into the amenities, we have no amenities. So
your time has expired.
I do want to thank you for your consideration. You are our voice right now, and we appreciate your consideration.
Thank you, Dana. Next on the list is Doug Morse.
My name is Doug Morse, along with my wife Winnie Morse here. I live at 7383 Crush Court. I like the area enough that I also bought the lot across the street at 7340 Crush Court. I'm in support of this. I have been aware of these plans for, I think over the last year, there have been discussions going on about it. The only major concern we had was calling those new half-acre lots the same as estate lots, and that's, I think, been resolved, or they're referring to them as the reserve now. Yeah. So other than that, I mean, I think it's good for the community. It's good to achieve the density that was originally planned, so we get enough heads into the neighborhood. I think the diversity of the land and where those things are situated is a positive thing. So just in general, we strongly support it.
Thank you, Doug. Next on the list is William Green.
Hi, I'm William Green. I live at 9199 Angel Share Drive. A couple of things came out about this, as I was one of the people that wasn't notified. I'd had some conversations with Patrick on the side, but I never knew that it had moved along until the cancellation of the previous meeting, and we got an email. We were not included on the list, my wife and I. Looking through the presentation, I do have some concerns. I'm a vice president of a construction company currently. I do heavy construction. I build roads. I build BMPs. And although things have changed, there are engineering tactics that can keep the density There are filters, there are other items that can be used. On an environmental side, the current site being developed is already out of compliance. It has a notice to comply that is active with the County of New Kent environmental team right now. I went and looked at the SWIP today. It hasn't been updated for 2 weeks. It's got numerous stuff on the DEQ that would cause violations. So I don't feel that environmentally is the reason that they're worried about this development. The cost of development when you're doing those environmental tactics is more expensive, as with any construction project nowadays. It's going to make the development more expensive, and we understand that. But it's not the residents who bought in here previously's job to worry about the density. It's the developer's job to worry about the density. That's all I got.
Thank you, William. That is the last name on the list. Are there any other citizens wishing to speak? Please come forward. State your name and address, please.
Hello, my name is Richard Fields. I live at 9123 Angel Share Drive. You have my written comments wherein I objected to this amendment, but I wanted to give you some other observations. Since the initial application, since the initial ordinance in 2005, the developer, whether you call it Body Knoll or New Kent Farms, has been in violation of the ordinance. The original ordinance required that property owners be members of a master property owners association. The developer denied to grant us membership in the association. And as a result of that, they were able to claim an exemption from the Virginia Property Owners Association Act. They needed that exemption because the declaration for the association is in violation of the Property Owners Association Act. So in the restatement in 2018, paragraph 15D of the restated ordinance says that we are being members of the association. But again, the developer hasn't changed the declaration. We're still being denied our rights. In addition to that, the Master Property Owners Association is in violation of the Non-Stock Corporation Act because of the Master Property Owners Association, by direction of the developer, is distributing income to the developer who is a member of the association, which is a violation of the law. So I want you to be aware, I don't think that the county should approve anything until they have forced the developer to amend the documents and comply with the ordinance, comply with the Virginia Property Owners Association Act, and comply with the Virginia Non-Stock Corporation Act. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Any further comments by the applicant? Nope. I will now close the public hearing. Madam Chairman, I have closed the public hearing and return the floor to you for discussion and to take action.
Thank you. Are there further questions for staff or the developer?
I have a question for staff. Are we aware of any outstanding violations with the county involving the subdivision or the developers?
I might ask Mr. Heffy to come up and actually speak to that. I'm not aware of any violations with the county with the ordinance.
Members of the commission, Mr. Fields' concerns have been relayed to the zoning administrator, and no action has been taken.
I couldn't understand. Oh, I apologize. The concerns that were raised have been shared with the county staff and the zoning administrator, and there's been no action taken by the county. Nothing's been done. So there is no violation that's been done by the county. Right. The concerns have been shared, and there's been no action taken. That's what I'm telling you.
Go ahead.
For the folks that you said that a couple of years ago you completed a survey, and that was a few years ago. Do you have any one of those people here now? Where's the packet?
I have the packet.
Okay.
That was in 2018. Patrick's exactly right. We did it at a Christmas party.
Okay.
Probably 45 or 50, well, maybe 55% of the residents agreed at that time with this type of a plat map that would put the half acre over on the other side. But since then, things have changed. I mean, since then, I learned all about the violations that are going on here. We had rights under the initial ordinance. And we still have some, not many, but some rights in the restated ordinance. The developer took almost all of our rights away when they did the restatement in 2018. The county had rights in the initial ordinance, but in the restatement in 2018, the developer took all of the county's rights away because the county no longer has the right or the authority to review documents for legal compliance. But they had that right in the initial ordinance. So there's a lot of things going on here. I've spoken about these assertions with the county, and Mr. Hefty is exactly right. I've presented it to several people in the county. No action's been taken. But what's even more important, no one has disagreed with me. I've made these assertions as to violations of law, and no one has said to me, you're wrong. Everyone I've spoken to has said, you got a great civil case. You can sue. But it's more than that. It's more than that. So I've spoken with law enforcement. I've spoken with probably 15 different county representatives. There's a lot going on here. This developer is breaking a lot of laws for their personal gain. Now, until somebody investigates this, I've been talking to the county now for 6 months. In 6 months, no one in the county has taken affirmative action to investigate and make their own determination as to whether something's wrong. No one. And I started this in January. So somebody has to do something. You can't ignore this anymore. The county has a duty to protect its citizens. We're citizens. So when do we get what we're entitled to? There's bad things going on here. If you read the declaration of the Master Property Owners Association, which is required by the initial ordinance and by the restated ordinance, read that declaration and go read the law and go read the ordinance. And you will see in the declaration specific violations. The ordinance says yes, the declaration says no. The Virginia Property Owners Association Act says X. The declaration says no. The Virginia Non-Stock Corporation Act says do this. The declaration says no. The evidence is in the declaration. The evidence of the violation is in the Articles of Incorporation. The evidence is in the bylaws of the corporation. It's right there in front of everybody. No one.
I'm gonna need. I understand what you're saying, but we need to cut you off. I mean, we've had a lot of people that have had their turn to speak. Okay?
I'm good. Thank you.
And just as a matter of record, those concerns I don't believe are under the purview of the Planning Commission.
Well, if I may, the planning, the ordinance for the Funk PUD actually contains the provisions and the requirements. So they violated the provisions of the Funk PUD. It's a planning document, so why in the world, if there's a requirement in a PUD ordinance, why in the world isn't planning responsible for enforcement of those provisions?
We're not responsible for code enforcement. This body is not responsible for code enforcement.
And we're not here to vote on that. That would be the legal system to do that. We're here just to vote on this.
And I'm asking that you don't pass it until somebody has investigated and resolved this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Kelly, I've got one question regarding actually the entrance. Were there any other concerns about that second entrance with the density?
There's been a concern about a second entrance since the beginning of this. Yeah.
Okay.
The county's in favor. I mean, County Emergency Services is definitely in favor of a second entrance. Right now it's proposed as an emergency only, which is something. But that's something that, it's not part of tonight's discussion, but it's something that we could look at, in future site plans.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at, okay, if we're paving the way for more development in that area, that there's other things that are potentially going to rear the ugly head later on.
Right.
So.
And you can see that in the packet there is the emergency access proposed location that's shown. It's hard to see on this though.
Kelly, I have a question on the response to comments.
Mm-hmm.
I see the comments from the Environmental Department dated June 1st of 2021. And it looks like the response to those questions was just cut and pasted. It's word for word, I think, out of the original application. And so I just want to can you tell me if that's the case? Because it doesn't look like they responded to the specific questions.
I see what you're saying. When they responded to, those were the comments that were given to the applicant by the department. So they copied and pasted that, and then their responses following that. So the part you're talking about, comments dated 6/1/2021?
Yeah, where it says response?
Yes, those were the comments that were given by environmental to them. So what they did was they copied and pasted
I understand that.
To respond.
So item number 1, where it has 4 or 5 bullets there, that's from the county.
Right.
And then below that is the applicant's response.
Right.
Right? Is that response just copied and pasted from over here? Because I see the same thing over here where it says considerations.
No, the staff memo part on top of the map that you were talking about, that was copy and pasted from their response. Yes.
Kelly, the delineation of the area in question. I know one commenter mentioned that it wasn't specific enough, but as far as I can tell, all the plat numbers, all the markers are indicating just that one portion of Land Bay 1 only.
Yes.
And it would not extend into any other portion of that land bay.
That's correct. We made them provide a legal description of the area in the blue that would specifically be called out for the half-acre lots.
Okay.
And we tried our best to specify that both with the legal description as an exhibit to the resolution, as well as a picture, the exhibit. And that would also carry through to the board ordinance should this go to the board for when it goes.
It wasn't a question, it was a comment, just to add on to the conversation that we just had now. Thank you. My name is Joe Roman. I want to talk about the second entrance because we keep on our focus is on the Vinatera development and the surrounding areas. The one entrance that we have is shared with the winery. It's also shared with the golf course. And then you have a flood of houses on Angel Share that is the main thoroughfare that exits out to the main entrance. So that one single entrance, in addition to the additional building that's being done behind our gate, also affects the golf course and the winery. Now, you tell me if the emergency services companies, the police and the fire, have told us personally that they 100% support it, and I know the developer says that, we've talked about it, we think it's a good idea, but we're not bringing it up now as part of consideration. I think there's a mismatch there, because if we're talking about the safety and security of our citizens, we've got to take into effect that if there's emergency vehicles, now they may have an emergency vehicle entrance, whatever, but God forbid, firestorms, windstorms, tornadoes, whatever, and you're going to have a mass of people trying to get out of one central area. I think that the county has to seriously consider the safety and security of its citizens, based on not just the Vinatera and the remaining sites, but also the winery as well as the golf course. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
Madam Chair, I have a couple topics for discussion. I understand many of the residents are of the opinion that when they bought into Vinatera, they bought into a development that was promoting acre plus lots. But I'm wondering how many people were buying into and knowing that there would be a certain number of lots to help support the amenities that would be complementary to the development So I'm a little bit torn as to the proposal. I can justify the need for half-acre lots. I think diversity into the community does bring variety, brings an appeal. I know this is one-sided, but the price points of the homes don't seem substantially different than the ones that we've seen already developed out there, except for the cottages. So I'm a little bit torn and just wonder what the other commissioners are thinking.
I'm a little bit torn as well. I understand the concerns about home prices. However, I mean the little bit I know about real estate pricing, the difference in the pricing, if the houses are the same size, is going to be the price of the lots only. So a half an acre lot versus a 1+ acre lot, I don't think those are necessarily would be comparable in terms of establishing the home prices. So if that's the case, then there shouldn't be as much of an issue with potentially devaluing the estate homes. I am in favor of of a more diverse, slightly more diverse mix, but again, with as much opposition, we are trying to be understanding of everybody's concerns.
Well, I guess my issues or concerns still remain with I don't know if half-acre lots is, I guess, an equitable response to, again, the reaction to stormwater regs changing, and we're sticking to the same number, the max density, 455. Nothing has changed, I guess. Now the layout has changed, I understand. I know there's been a transition of ownership or developers. But the original PUD was based on certain criteria, and it was established for that size project that it is. The changes in the stormwater regulations, I don't believe, to me, equate 70 or so acres, which is what you're not developing, because you're reducing the 145 lots from 1 acre to a half acre. Should there be some consideration due to the regs changing? I could be in support of that, but is it a total trade for the stormwater regs, which has been cited? The terrain hasn't changed. So whatever was factored in the original PUD approval has to be factored in today as well. And we're focusing on that number that has not changed, 455. So I'm not certain half-acre lots as compared to 1 acre lots, if it should be a 1-for-1, or again with the stormwater regs, if it's equitable. If you cite those stormwater regs, and I don't see 70 acres of water, I don't believe. But that's what you're losing. So that's my opinion.
Heard someone say, I don't remember exactly who it was, but will this affect the amenities that come? I mean, will there be some if this happens?
It's at the county currently. The amenity package is at the county currently. It has somewhat of a predication on a land sale to be able to build it, and also the amenity that's being built is a high-end amenity that will take a lot of money to maintain.
So we're saying these would be more marketable and they would come quicker, and that would cause the amenities to come quicker. Is that what we're saying?
Race Brooks Company is the applicant. They are looking at purchasing it from the original developer, who has the obligation to build the amenities.
But nothing
the original developer
firm.
has the obligation to build. New Kent Farms LLC has the obligation to build the amenities.
And you did say that if people, when they buy these half-acre lots, they can't build like a dinky little house. It's a minimum square footage house they have to build?
Minimum 2,500 square foot.
On all the lots in that whole place? Okay. So it's not, if someone buys a smaller lot and still is a minimum amount of house, so they could build that on an acre lot. So it wouldn't make a difference on the size of the lot. Thank you.
When I listen to everything that's happening, I think my issue is really just all of the citizens' comments. I'm looking at what they're proposing, and I'm also hearing some of the issues within the community. And the one thing that I focus in on is developers' control. I really do. Because I understand that wholeheartedly. Whenever a developer has control of a property, if they want to submit for changes or make changes, they can do that. And that is key for folks that have bought into any community. And then when you're under developers' control for a long period of time, and they suggest changes such as this, the residents are kind of stuck, and what I'm hearing is they are looking for us to try to assist in this manner. I think that's what my main issue is here.
You are our voice. That's exactly right.
Are there any other comments from staff? Any other considerations? Okay. Any other thoughts from commissioners?
Did staff make a recommendation?
You didn't?
No, you didn't make a recommendation.
Madam Commissioner, it may seem unfair, but I think we need to focus on the land use issues, not on civil issues in this case. Although they're related, I think we need to look what's in the best use of the land. And as it affects our county.
Okay. Well, we can put it to a vote. Either that, or we can table and potentially get more information. But I'm not sure how much more information we're going to.
That was exactly what I was going to ask you, Madam Commissioner, was what other additional information would we, as commissioners, desire to see to maybe table this until the next meeting? I'm not sure what that would be that hasn't been explored already.
Unfortunately, we are dealing with a PUD that was drawn up years ago. There's been numerous stops and starts to the whole development, and I know there's a lot of people with a lot of money at stake. So,
I will note there are two.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Mr. Horsley, how does this change benefit the citizens of New Kent County? How do they benefit from this? How many 1 acre lots have you sold so far?
I've sold 10. And me personally.
Not you personally. I mean, how many are sold?
Right now, there's about 45 homes, or 42
knows the exact number, but I would say about 46 lots that are not owned by my company that are currently developed.
What is the density at the critical mass that you have to reach to put the amenities in?
The required in the PUD is 159 homes.
159.
That's the requirement.
Okay, and you are currently
Currently at about 40, but like I said, if we can get there's a lot of money that's involved in the transaction here, but it is currently at the county. The amenities are currently approved. We've gotten the first round of comments. We're working on the first round of comments back to them. But if something along these lines cannot affect, then it'll be, it may have to be delayed.
Go ahead.
I understand that I know the role of the planning commissioner. I understand that wholeheartedly. And I do hear that there's two issues here. But I also understand that we are all here because someone was voted in and appointed us. And if we start making decisions that I know we're here just for land use, I understand that, but we still have citizens that live on all of these properties or working on all of these properties or putting businesses on all of these properties that we're voting on. And so I truly feel like it goes hand in hand. Even though we're here for land use, we still have to consider the citizens and what they're thinking and how they're feeling.
We're not making the final decision either.
Say that again.
We're making a recommendation to the board. We're not making the final decision here.
I understand that. I understand that.
Kelly, have you been reviewing? Who reviews the all the amenities packages? You do. Okay. And has that been discussed?
I think he's referring to the clubhouse.
The clubhouse and pool and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the plan reviewer extraordinaire.
Okay.
Yeah, like Patrick had mentioned, we returned comments, I believe, about a month or so ago. It's a clubhouse with multiple amenities. I believe you have tennis court, pool. Yeah, it's quite a large amenity for a clubhouse. I believe it's 45 or no more than that.
If you figured it all,
Yeah.
about 45 or 50.
Yeah. So right now, comments are going through the process. VDOT has made, their comments. Environmental has made their comments. I had some comments. The fire marshal's office as well. But otherwise, those comments are pretty straightforward. There's nothing really entangled with what they're proposing here, though. So.
Second row, what do you mean?
The second
The second entrance is something that is not being brought upon here. Yeah. It's something that's we definitely I think it's definitely would be a benefit to the community, but I also understand there's different other elements that are in place there.
I think everybody's at a loss. Is there any further discussion?
Give a descending motion, you really need to have a reason, so I'm not willing to do that.
Does this need to be tabled, and will tabling it, will we be able to make a better decision in another month?
Well, like Mr. Bennett said earlier, what more information would we get or need by tabling?
I agree. I still stand by that, Mr. Davis. Mr. Horsley, I know you spent a lot of time with your colleagues on this. My suggestion, and I may make this an motion to defer or table this until next month, is that you have a town meeting with your residents and openly discuss what you're trying to do, present the numbers to them as concisely as you can to show the benefits, and everybody recognize the detriments, if there's any, of what you're trying to do for the rest of the property. Like I said, my personal opinion, I like the diversification because it diversifies the community. But I think there's enough teeter-tottering on this commission right now that I don't think we could come out with a decision. So with that, I'm going to suggest and make a motion that we table this decision until next month.
So, Mr. Bennett, when you speak of diversification, there's no diversification of price point, right? Because the half-acre lots would be marketed the same as the estate lots. So what diversification is it?
My suggestion on diversification is in the offering of different size lots that opens up the community to a broader range of families and individuals that can occupy those homes there, those projected homes there. It is not to change what they've established as far as covenants on the style of the homes or the style or the size of the homes or anything to that nature. It is simply opening up a variety of home price points other than maybe in excess of $750,000 each.
Didn't you say the price point would be $750,000 to $800,000 in the half-acre lots?
On average, but also on the 29 estate lots that I am developing, and surrounded by 5 golf courses in a winery, in part of the winery. I don't foresee those home prices being below $1 million.
Mr. Larochelle, the other thing that's got entered in my discussion with you here is that not all, but approximately 1/3 of the homes that are in the estate, maybe slightly less, are along the golf course or in close proximity to the golf course. Those lots that are represented in the light blue, the half-acre lots, there are a few that are close by the golf course, but sizably the number of them are away from the golf course. That's basically separating a community, but it doesn't need to separate the PUD. So does it present itself for a different style of home? Maybe. Does it present itself for a different price point at home? Definitely. So I think that diversification is what will really bring some charm and cherishedness and some overall value to this community.
If I may. May I? May I?
1 minute. Please.
The 1+ acres, the entire development was planned as custom home sites, not to have 2 homes built identically the same. These half-acre lots, the current plan is that they're production homes, and every 8th house will be the same. So we're going from 1+ acre custom homes, where no 2 homes are alike, to half-acre lots, where every 8th home is the same. So it's a substantial difference between a custom home that costs $1 million plus or a production home where every 8th house looks the same. So that's the difference we're talking about.
We've also tried to have a meeting, but some people were muted.
You mean like a WebEx meeting?
Yes, ma'am. A Zoom. We did try, and people were muted because they had a difference of opinion.
I know this has been a challenging year for everybody, and getting people together is very, very difficult. I tend to agree with Mr. Bennett's suggestion that it be tabled in order to get more communication within the community. I can't second.
Okay.
Any other thoughts by the commissioners on that? A motion to table it for a month. There can be a motion made to send a favorable recommendation or an unfavorable recommendation. Or an unfavorable recommendation. So those are our choices.
How would you feel about Mr. Bennett's recommendation as a developer?
I mean, we've had conversations in the past with this. I mean, we can put together we've sent out emails that have described exactly what we're looking for. We've asked for comments and questions. We respond to every single comment and question that we get. I personally, I mean, yes, but with COVID, I don't know what exactly we can do and can't do. I mean, I know we're all here right now, but there's different things that we might not be able to do technically, because last year we couldn't have an HOA meeting it had to be within a Zoom because of the legal regulations that were in place at the time. I don't know if those legal regulations are still in place. Maybe not, because looking in the crowd, it's not as big of a deal, and I'm more than happy to have a meeting. I think it's going to end up being the same conversations that's happening here, and there's just going to be a divide. And I don't know exactly how to, I guess, cure the divide. Like I said, we thought we had when we were originally going through this process, we thought we had enough support in the community, but we also understand things change. So. And also, to go back with Rick Field's question, the ARB does state individuality is encouraged. Thus, repetition of existing homes designs with only minor modifications will not be allowed. So minor modifications can be interpreted in different ways, but that's what the ARB is currently. That's the way it states it.
May I speak?
Yes, briefly.
As a real estate professional, all I can say is that this community was developed in 2008. You've had the same developers continue to pay their bonds and continue to maintain the integrity of the neighborhood. They had many opportunities in the downturn to do a wholesale of the lots that could have very negatively impacted. The fact that we only have had less than 46 sales in the last 13 years, I think indicates that the community needs to have a better product offering in order to complete the community and protect the values of the existing homeowners as well.
I just have one thing to say. Patrick, it says designs with only
will be allowed, it says will not be allowed.
Minor modifications.
Yeah, they will
Yeah,
not
but the
be
intent
allowed.
of minor modifications is
Not
what
be
it could be.
allowed,
It could be a color of a door or something like that. Is the reason I was pointing that out.
You're missing the word not.
That's my recommendation, that the group get together.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I'm willing to remove my motion if I can, if you, Mr. Horsley, and your team says, let's go to a vote. So, your choice.
I mean, y'all making a recommendation to the board, they're gonna be the ultimate decision makers. I feel that a vote would be more inducive. We can try to have a meeting in between now and then, and we can work through those times, but, and then the board can make their final decision, in my opinion. That's just my own opinion.
That's what I agree. I think the Board of Supervisors needs to decide on this. So, Madam President, can I make a motion? In order to address, protect, and promote public convenience.
You may make a motion, Mark, but you just withdraw your motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just to tidy it up, then we're good. Mark, you just withdraw it and then we're motioning.
I saw you standing there. Thank you. Madam Chair, I will withdraw my recommendation, my motion to defer action on this case.
I would like to make a motion so the Board of Supervisors can decide this. In order to address, protect, and promote public convenience, necessity, general welfare, and good zoning practices in the county, I move to adopt resolution number PC 1821 to forward application PUD 0121 to the New Kent County Board of Supervisors with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. May I have a roll call?
Madam Chairman, do we need to have a vote on the rescinded motion by Mr. Bennett?
Oh.
Mr. Hefty? Okay.
No, ma'am. We do not have to have a vote.
No, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Hefty. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman. To adopt PC 1821 for PUD 0121, the Farms in New Kent Land Bay 1 Amendment. How say you, Ms. Thomas?
Nay.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Dr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. LaRochelle?
Nay.
Mr. Davis?
Nay.
Ms. Pearson?
Nay.
Ms. Rose?
Nay.
Thank you. So that's 2 ayes and 5 nays on the motion, Madam Chairwoman.
Motion did not carry.
The motion did not carry, Madam Chairwoman.
We're going to take a short recess. 5 minutes.
Schmidt, can't seem to
understand how many public meetings we can have that people choose not to come to and then complain about it.
I guess I'm gonna try to create something and maybe get more people to come out for support. If we can try to drum up more support, because of course we have more negatives than we have positives. It's the only thing I can do.
Or you could I mean,
Well, we'll
I
have
hate
one
to,
and see
I
what
hate to
happens.
throw it up, but you know.
There's a dozen things people can comment on, but the issue is profit is lots of money.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about the other stuff. I mean, I don't know what else we could have done. I guess we could have deferred and probably gotten a favorable recommendation. I don't think it wasn't worth waiting for another month to go through.
Said it'll go to the board anyway.
What was that?
Said it'll go to the board, the board will have a negative recommendation.
They can reverse it.
Thank you.
No, they're for another. They're for the next.
There's something else going on.
No, that's why they're taking a break.
Clear the house, clear the.
I mean, I guess Winnie's still here. I was just gonna ask her how her foot is doing.
How you doing?
Yeah, I have my mask.
Sorry about that.
She was walking in here. Oh, wow. No wonder I hadn't seen her today. That's fine. I just want to make sure. Okay, some of the pictures. I don't have anything to do with it. He's curious and trying to. It wasn't intended. That's not. They're not taking the money and running it. They're giving it to the golf.
Patrick, I was going to suggest something. Yeah. You know, my wife is out. I think because you're busy. You could have a Patrick corner. Right. So basically, Patrick says, Patrick wants people to know that the building in this community, we're 3/4 of the way where we.
I think me and Andy.
Oh, you don't have to.
Just the two of us. Because in my opinion, when I walk around, please don't. I know what Patrick's doing. I don't know what he's doing. There's sort of a little suspicion.
Right.
And I think that suspicion separates. Whereas if there was more communication, even if it's mundane, I think it would help people go, oh yeah, Patrick, I just read that Patrick's building on lot 12. He's going to
Most people will go listen to it. We'll go and talk to Kurt. He got all the information. But yeah, no.
See, if you would insist in that, I would love to.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. Definitely.
Jeff, welcome to the Vince Para. Thank you for. I think it's going to be great. I'm really excited to see what we're going to do. Yeah, that's big. Berkshire Hathaway. Wow.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I like
I am. She's got to call the meeting back to order first, though.
Okay, are we ready for the second public hearing?
She's got to call the meeting back to order.
Oh.
But is yes, everyone ready? Hit the gavel. There you go.
All right, we are opening up the second public hearing for application CUP-03-21, The Truck Shop, LLC.
All right, thank you, ma'am. I'm going to make this brief, and then I want to introduce Andy Curtis and Tim White from Curtis Contracting in the truck shop. They're going to give a presentation when I'm finished. They've requested a conditional use permit for a public maintenance and repair shop designed for heavy-duty trucks, tractor trailers, RVs, as well as truck fueling facilities and truck sales at an existing facility located at 7450 Ready Mix Drive in Eltham. It's called the Truck Shop, and it's located on a developed parcel approximately 10 acres in size. The parcel is zoned industrial and is surrounded on all sides by industrial property. Section 9861 of the zoning ordinance allows for property owners to apply for a conditional use permit for uses that are not defined in the current code. There is currently no definition for truck repair or trailer repair, hence that's why we're here tonight. The hours of this business are currently 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and that's not proposed to change. The application was reviewed by all reviewing agencies as well as VDOT, and there were no major comments. Economic Development Director stated the business will help expand the tax base within the county, and he feels it's compatible with the surrounding uses in the area. The standards for review of conditional use permits are set forth in section 98-744 of the county code and are listed in your staff memo. There are 4 suggested conditions listed in resolution PC-19-21, and I'd like to introduce Tim and Andy Curtis.
Thank you, Kelly. Members of the commission and staff, my name is Andy Curtis. I'm the president of Curtis Contracting. We came to the county in 2001 with about 20 employees. Now we employ over 300 people. Over the last 15 years, and we're located on Route 33 down in Eltham, and over the last 15 years, I've had several people come to me, matter of fact, some were past Board of Supervisors members, asking could we work on their vehicles at our heavy equipment maintenance facility. At that time, we could not because we were so busy with our own stuff, keeping it built. There was a facility down the street on Ready Mix Drive that used to be owned by Commercial Carriers Corporation. And if you remember correctly, they were a tractor trailer group that used to carry all the beer out of Budweiser. And when they lost their contract, I'd always admired their facility because as far as growth, where Curtis Contracting is located, we have no room for growth because we're surrounded on 3 sides by waterways and on one side by Route 33. About 2 years ago, when I saw their business declining, I took it upon myself to find out the owner, and he was located in Jacksonville, Florida. So with an unannounced phone call, I called him, we started talking, I ended up purchasing that property, and it is 10 acres in size, approximately 10 acres. It's got its own stormwater management basin. We came to an agreement on the price. They use the facility for heavy truck maintenance and trailer maintenance for all their tractor trailers. It was a fenced-in compound. To my dismay, they hadn't put any money in the facility in probably 20 years. When we purchased the facility, we actually went inside, and you'll see the slides that Tim's going to present you shortly. But we really gutted the facility, all the drywall, the insulation, the ceiling tiles, the floor tiles, the heating and air conditioning system, because we wanted to make it a state-of-the-art repair facility. One of the things I've noticed in my survey across Central and Eastern Virginia, no heavy equipment or heavy truck maintenance shop is air-conditioned. And on our 100-degree days or 105-degree days, you can imagine what it's like to be a technician and be up underneath of a truck or working on a truck with nothing but a fan blowing on you. So in some of the slides, you'll see Mr. White show you that that facility is totally heated and air conditioned. The beauty about the facility is we put outdoor light. We replaced all the outdoor exterior lighting they had. We put 24-hour gates up there, and we offer a diversity of services there. We've been welcomed by the community to this point, and we're here before you to really get your permission and blessing to continue with our dream of a heavy truck maintenance facility. With that point, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to Tim, but thank you for your time tonight.
What am I looking for here, Cody? I tried to pay attention the first time, but I lost my way about halfway through. Can you right-click it and go to next? Did she click and the truck disappeared? I've seen that.
There we go. Okay, you see it up here? See the
Okay.
arrow? Just try not to move the...
Just leave it right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, this gives you a little overview of the area. We're sitting down there at the bottom. You have Vulcan Materials above it, which used to be Rappahannock, Virginia Biodiesel, and the geotechnical contract. As you can see, the access road, it's all used now by heavy equipment. Our goals at the truck shop is to do all these repairs. Of course, truck maintenance and repair. We want to do RV maintenance, a lot of RVs in the area, no place to take it. We're trying to keep the business in New Kent, not going to Richmond, because that's pretty much where everyone has to go. We want to do parts sales, just general parts. We have a large parts room upstairs. Fuel sales, sell diesel fuel and DEF. Eventually sell trucks. We have a little section over on the corner I'll show you here in a minute where we can set trucks for sale. And do monthly truck parking, RV, and boat storage. Just rent monthly spots, $150 a month, and you can park your RV year round and just get it and use it when you need it. And of course, DOT inspections. Our standard operation of hours, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5. We do have dual entrances going in. The first one's sort of a customer parking lot, and the other one goes through our gate that is closed on the weekends and of the evenings. We do have a fuel island, and it's over, as you can see, it's sort of, I don't want to move my arrow, but it's in the very center of the slide. The front lot has over 60 parking spots, and these would be split between customer parking and you see the bottom right, it says for sale. We propose eventually to have trucks there for sale in that corner. This is our shop. As you can see, our fly-through drone shows the facility. We have a newly epoxied floor, as you can see in the top left with the 2 trucks. Large stock room for our parts, like I said earlier. I don't foresee any more truck traffic on the road. We're just trying to keep the truck traffic here for the repairs and still going out of the area. And of course, as Andy touched earlier, it was purchased in 2020. We have 6 bays. We redid the walls, the drywall. Like I said, it's fully air conditioned. You can see the 2 units there, even the parts room's air conditioned. Shop services we do have available, and we have available for fire, EMS, trash, buses, school buses, county buses, what have you. General services, preventive maintenance, electrical, chassis, brake, just pretty much anything a shop would do. Specialty services, transmission and differential, rebuild and replace, driveline, hydraulic pumps, springs, air conditioned service, which is very popular, and diagnostic and DOT inspections. This is our office, as you can see coming through the door. It's all brand new drywall, new floors, new lights, new ceiling, restroom there on the left. Go down the hallway. There's a customer lounge to the left where the arrow was. There's the customer lounge, as you can see in the bottom. It has a coffee maker, television, snack machine, all very state-of-the-art, very nice. I came originally from Roanoke about 4 months ago, run a Kenworth dealership, and that customer lounge is head and shoulders above the Kenworth required customer lounge. So something we're very proud of. This is actually an overview of the lot. Proposed monthly parking spaces at the top. And also at the bottom right, you see you have boat and RV parking, sort of separate from the trucks because they don't go in and out a lot. the self-service diesel fuel island, and DEF also. This is all completely fenced in with an electric gate that closes automatically. Plus, if you have someone renting a spot, they would have a code to get in and out, 24-hour access. That's our building. The front has the offices and the lounge. And of course, in the back, you have the service base. This here, we've proposed, it looks like a little cloud there at the bottom. More landscaping for the front, for appearance-wise, trees, shrubbery. In the front, you can see it has trees on Route 33, a vegetative screen, and we're going to maintain that and leave that. We're just trying to spruce up the front a little bit. I think it had some haphazard trees there before, and we'll just tuck them out. So that's the proposal for the fall. And that's my presentation. Oh, I got one more slide. That's sort of back.
Go ahead.
That's sort of backing out. We're proud of that. We found out we could go in reverse. All you had to do was rewind. Thank you.
So if you ladies and gentlemen have any questions, feel free to ask.
That's what I was just going to say. Any questions from the commission or staff?
I have a quick question. What are your proposed hours of operations?
7:30 to 5. 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. One thing Tim did not mention. We talked about the electronic gate. So let's just say you've got an RV. You'd get your personal code to the gate. So if you wanted to come in on a Saturday to get your RV to take it out, you'd punch in your code. The gate would open. You could come in, get your RV, and leave. So so as far as it's a controlled access gate, but if your property is within our secure compound, you've got the rights to come in 24/7 to get it. On the diesel fuel and DEF fluid, we're developing a customer base for that. We're trying to be competitive on pricing, and that's normally open 7:30 to 5 o'clock. But if you're a good customer, you could have a code to the gate where, let's just say you're a logger, and you're not coming out of the logwoods till 5 o'clock. So you don't fuel up till 6 o'clock. You could punch in your code, come in the gate. It's all credit card for your DEF fluid and your diesel fuel. And you could get your fuel and leave. But we tried to make it a one-stop shop because one thing I've noticed, if you drive around the county, a lot of people don't have a place to park a log truck. They'll pull over in somebody's driveway or pull over on a vacant lot. Well, this gives them a place to store their vehicle. It's secure. It's lit. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They can get diesel fuel there. They can get DEF fluid there. And they can get all their repairs and inspections done there. It's like a one-stop shop for a heavy trucker.
I have a question. It may be a little off.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask it anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
This is a trucking company. Do you have any plans to work with Rappahannock Community College or New Kent High School in regards to getting?
Okay, as you're well aware, in the construction side of the house, we've got about 300 employees at Curtis Contracting. I've probably got 20 heavy diesel technicians. Mm-hmm. But to find people nowadays is almost incredible. Tim is finding the exact same thing. So yes, ma'am, we do work with Rappahannock Community College. Okay. We do work with New Kent. Okay. We're looking, and what Tim has done to find experienced mechanics now is like pulling hen's teeth. So he's got one experienced mechanic right now and 3 younger gentlemen. So that's the only way we're finding is to grow the youngsters. And the other thing, back in the business community now, people will leave you for a quarter an hour. One of the reasons that we did an air-conditioned shop is nobody else has an air-conditioned shop. So it seems like your biggest asset will always be your employees. And if you can offer amenities to take care of your employees, hopefully you'll attract and retain the best of the best.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Curtis, I've just got a couple quick questions, and I understand you purchased the facility from
Commercial carriers.
From commercial carriers. Was the fuel and DEF tank, were they already there?
The fuel tank was there, yes, ma'am. It's a 15,000 gallon above ground double wall tank.
Okay.
And when we purchased the facility, it had residue in the bottom of it. So I hired PAPCO, who is our diesel fuel supplier. They came out, did the inspection on the tank, drained the tank, cleaned the tank, and then we put all new refueling apparatus in there. It's all new pumps. It's all metered, so everything's up to snuff. And on the DEF fluid tank, that's also an above ground tank. That's also all run through new pumps, new credit card machine. So yes, ma'am, all that's been inspected. The DEF tank was not there when we purchased the facility, only the 15,000 gallon above ground tank.
Okay. Is everything registered with the DEQ?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you've got the appropriate SPCC plans?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And for stormwater, the facility came. If you look in the, let's say if we're going east towards West Point, it would be in our southwestern quadrant. There's an existing BMP within our fenced-in area.
Okay.
So any runoff that we've got from our facility goes to our BMP.
Okay.
And that's one of your questions regarding the diesel fuel tank. That's one of the beauties of having an above ground tank. If a leak develops, you can see it right now.
Yeah.
Or if it's underground, you don't see it for a while.
Yeah. Now, is the fueling area, does that go drain to like an oil water separator that then goes to the sewer? Or?
Right now, to my knowledge, everything on that facility it's a flat concrete slab. Mm-hmm. Everything's designed to drain to our BMP. But no, ma'am, there's no specific oil water separator with the facility at this point.
Okay. And when commercial carriers owned it, they did not allow potentially 24-hour fueling access, correct?
Incorrect. Commercial carriers was a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week facility.
Okay.
They had trucks coming and going every day of the week,
okay.
Whether they'd be for Budweiser. And if you remember correctly, when they lost their Budweiser contract, all the van trucks left and all flatbeds came in, where they were hauling anything from drywall to lumber to seed to fertilizer to anything you can think of. Mm-hmm. And we've still got, I think when we did the original purchase, they wanted to retain or lease 15 parking spots from us until they moved on as far as found another place. So right now we do the maintenance on their vehicles. They don't get fuel from us because they've got a national fuel contract somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
One other question to Kelly. Since I know this probably, because of everything that they're doing, it may actually fall into a couple different categories potentially, since they're actually serving as a storage facility as well. Are there any other considerations from any of those other categories that they might not be meeting, or is everything in line with those different types of operations?
Yeah, we could add a couple of the additional uses that were mentioned tonight in the application. I wasn't aware that there was a proposed storage plan to allow people to store RVs and trucks there. Typically, when we do use permits for those, it would require everything that they already have out there, like the fencing, the lighting, the security. So, and it seems to me like they would meet those conditions.
Okay, I'm just trying to think.
Yeah.
Since it is kind of a one-stop shop, there's a couple different operations that would fall into several categories. So we just want to make sure that they're gonna meet the minimum standards for all those different activities.
Right. And if there was any sort of additional, land disturbance or additions or anything like that proposed, then we would be looking at an amended site plan where it would have to come back through us.
Okay. Good.
And the unattended fuel or the fleet fueling, I mean, that's permitted under building code, and then or fire code as far as maintenance though. So if anything was done, obviously it would have been done to building code.
And we've had fire marshal inspections. One of the things that we've done, we also buy fuel, whether it be from PAPCO or we buy from the biodiesel gentleman right there located 1,000 feet from our facility.
Do you anticipate road service or?
We've been asked that question a lot. At this point, no, sir, not yet.
Okay, because that obviously
if the demand were to grow, possibly.
And that Kelly, that wouldn't have any impact on what we're talking about today. If the record service or road service, yeah, okay. Nothing additional would be needed if they do that. Okay. And for the RV aspect of it, I appreciate it if y'all do that, because I know one local business, I guess the Lightfoot area, has stopped doing it. Williamsburg Ford used to do RVs as far as inspections and minor repairs, stuff like that, and they quit doing it. So
yeah, if you go up, you know, and we haven't discovered the secret in it yet, but if you go up north on 95 towards Ashland, and you look over on the left-hand side, if you're traveling northbound, all those big RV places, there must be some money in RVs. We just haven't found it yet. We're looking.
But they never have enough techs at those big places, I tell you that.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, congratulations on your mentorship program, because what we're sadly lacking in the future is going to be trades, and I can't speak more highly of that. I do have a couple of questions regarding this application. Number one is, in the past, Curtis Contractor's been using that lot as a storage facility for Sanders, and I'm asking if that is going to still be a continued use there, which implies, does the 7:30 in the morning to 5:30 operation hour, does that deter that, or what's the overall plan?
The only time that Curtis Contracting would go on to that facility after those hours, we've got large snow contracts for VDOT on the interstate highways, whether it be 64 between here and Richmond, Interstate 95, 195. We probably got, well, I can tell you how many we've got. Right now, we've got a contract with VDOT for 82 trucks with plows and spreaders. And what you see primarily stored down there right now is our snow plows and our spreaders. The only time we would access that after those hours would be to get, if VDOT calls an emergency. They normally give us 4 hours to react for getting our spreaders. And the lot is well lit. We would put a forklift down there to assist in loading everything. And I'll tell you just a little bit about us. Traditionally, and I know this is off key, but I'd like to share this with you because I'm proud of it. Traditionally, a snow spreader, a salt spreader, is either powered by PTO, power takeoff, where you run all the hydraulic lines into your truck, or it's got a diesel engine on the back of it. And we've been plowing snow for about 20 years. And traditionally, if you're not using something 11 months out of the year, you get ready to go use it. Well, it's kind of like, okay, it's time to wake up and run at 100%. And normally it's going to fail. So what we've done this year is we've taken all the PTOs off, we've taken all the diesel engines off, and we've converted everything to electric motors. And, we mentioned that to VDOT because one of the big things with VDOT, and you can cut me off if you need to cut me off, ma'am. You get a contract for plowing snow. Well, when your truck goes down, VDOT, they cut the payoff right then, and they make you go get another truck. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, that's almost impossible to do. So by putting all these little electric motors on there, now our service technicians, only thing they've got to carry, instead of all these elaborate things of hydraulic hoses and pumps and valves, they just carry spare motors. And it's almost like a plug and play. So I'm proud to be in New Kent. I'm proud of our company. I'm proud of what we do. I mentioned to Ms. Thomas a little while ago, I was sitting here listening to the previous presentation. I really appreciated the way she brought something from a land use to a personal, to a people use. And I think anyone in business today, if you don't recognize that your biggest asset is your people, you're not going to be in business long. Our biggest asset is our people.
Following that question, the landscaping efforts that you do along currently the GC property, the general contracting property, I think is I'll say substantially well done.
Thank you.
Not excellent, but well done. Appropriate to what's going on behind there, and it's easily to maintain. I would like to see similar type installation for this facility, and maybe some landscaping between the display area for your sales and the actual work area. That would just kind of highlight the property. That's just
Okay.
a suggestion.
And as Tim mentioned, if you look down the our borderline of the truck shop to Route 33, we've left that in pine trees. It performs a natural screen. We have no reason to take that down, nor will we take it down, because we don't want to be in the public eye of everybody seeing anything that we're doing. The landscaping that Tim was showing right there is right at the front door, and it would be between truck sales. And if you've been down Route 33, you'll say, well, Andy, you're asking for truck sales. I saw 2 trucks out there the other day for sale, road tractors. And yes, sir, they belong to Curtis Contracting. They've lived their life with Curtis Contracting. I've gotten them detailed, they're serviced, and they're up for sale by Curtis Contracting. They're just sitting down there at the truck shop.
Final question for you. The services you're planning to perform there, does that include heavy equipment like excavators and
No, sir.
pans and things of that
No,
nature?
sir. That floor up there is an 8-inch concrete floor. The floor I've got at Curtis Contracting is 12-inch double reinforced. For us to go on his epoxy floor with excavators, I'd be spending a lot of money every time it went in and went out. Yes, sir.
No further questions. I will now formally open the public hearing for citizen comment from the list. Okay, thank you. This one. Number 1 on the list is Annie.
That's me.
Oh. Tom, well,
I'd like to say I'm in support of the
did you
facility
sign up for?
100%.
Never mind, they're crossed off. We're done. Are there any other citizens wishing to speak? Any further comments by the applicant or sponsor? I will close the public hearing. Madam Chair, I have closed the public hearing and return the floor to you for discussion and to take action.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? If
One item,
Sir.
Madam Chair. My suggestion is to maybe modify the terms of the operation there for the 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., except in snow emergencies, to allow him to get in and out and access to equipment that may be necessary at that time, or something of that like. I would hope that we're not seeing snow movable equipment in May, per se.
Any other suggestions for even additional language on the conditional use permit? If not,
Just to comment, I think that certainly the proposal is appropriate for the use and the siting, so.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion. And this will include the amendments that Mr. Bennett had noted. In order to address, protect, and promote public convenience, necessity, general welfare, and good zoning practice in the county, I move to adopt resolution number PC 19-21 to forward application CUP 03-21 to the New Kent County Board of Supervisors with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. And roll call, please.
Yes, Madam Chairwoman, for the adoption of PC 1921, CUP 0321 with the additional language, with the snow emergency language, how say you, Mr. Bennett?
Aye.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Dr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Mr. La Rochelle?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Ms. Rose?
Aye.
The motion carries, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
New Kent County, and one thing I would like to tell you, our Sheriff's Department in New Kent County, we're blessed to have those folks. They are great, great people. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I will turn it back to the public here. But Vice Chair, for the next public hearing.
The third public hearing for tonight is Ordinance Amendment OA-07-21, Amendment to the New Kent County Floodplain Ordinance, Chapter 18, Article 6.
Good evening. I'm Josh Rogge. I'm the Environmental Director. New Kent County participates in the National Flood Insurance Program, or the NFIP, which is managed by FEMA, or the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Homes and businesses in high-risk flood areas with mortgages from government-backed lenders are required to have flood insurance as part of this program. However, our participation allows anyone living in New Kent to purchase flood insurance through the program. FEMA has issued new flood maps that take effect in October of this year. And since New Kent participates in the NFIP, our ordinance needs to be updated to meet the minimum NFIP requirements. The changes you will consider tonight are to update our existing floodplain ordinance to ensure compliance with the program. The changes have been reviewed by the Department of Conservation and Recreation, which oversees the NFIP requirements at the state level. The proposed amendments reflect the necessary changes needed for New Kent County's continued participation in the NFIP.
Any questions from the commission or staff? Okay, I will now formally open the public hearing for citizens' comments from the list, and there is no one on the list. Any other citizens wish to talk or speak? Okay, I will now close the public hearing. Madam Chair, I have closed the public hearing and return the floor to you for discussion to take action.
Thank you, Dr. Schmidt. If there is no further discussion, no questions or other comments, can I have a motion?
Madam Chair, in order to protect the health, safety, welfare, and property of New Kent County residents and businesses and to remain compliant with the National Flood Insurance Program requirements, I move to adopt resolution number PC-20-21 to forward ordinance amendment 0A-07-21 to the New Kent County Board of Supervisors with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes, for the approval of PC 20-21, ordinance OA-07-21, how say you? Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. LaRochelle?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Dr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Bennett?
Aye.
Ms. Rose?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries.
Thank you. Now for the last public hearing of the night, I'll turn it back over to Dr. Schmidt.
The fourth public hearing is application AFD-09-21, withdrawal from Big Swamp AFD.
Yes, Commissioners, AFD 0921 is under PC Resolution 21-21. This is a withdrawal from the Big Swamp AFD District. The applicants, Alicia and Jonathan Caldwell, are here tonight. If you have any questions, they'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. They've submitted an application to withdraw a 144.4 acre parcel located on Carriage Road, which is directly behind Vincent's Funeral Home on Carriage Road. Right now, the Big Swamp AFD consists of 17 parcels and is not set to expire until 2024. The applicants wish to withdraw this parcel to explore their by right options unencumbered by the regulations of the AFD program, which they are entitled to do. They are aware that they may be subject to rollback taxes, but they did recently inherit this property from the Mountcastles, which is Jonathan's grandparent, recently, so they may not have owned the property long enough to be subject to rollback, but we'll leave that to the Commissioner of Revenue. You can send a favorable recommendation to the Board of Supervisors for the withdrawal through PC Resolution 21-21, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. You do have the application and the maps and the requests in your packet under AFD 9-21.
Any questions from the commissioners or staff?
And from the map, it appears it's forestry or timber property.
Yes, currently the property is being used. 123 acres are devoted to timber and about 15 acres devoted to ag. There's 5 acres that are unqualified because of the home site location.
No further questions. I will now formally open the public hearing for citizen comments. There is no one signed up. Any other citizens wishing to speak? I will now close the public hearing. Madam Chair, I have closed the public hearing and return the floor to you for discussion and to take action.
Thank you, Dr. Schmidt. Are there any other questions or comments on this proposal? Hearing none, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion. In order to address, protect, and promote public convenience, necessity, general welfare, and good zoning practices in the county, I move to adopt resolution, hope I'm on the right one, PC-21-21, all right, to forward application AFD-09-21 to the New Kent County Board of Supervisors with a favorable recommendation for withdrawal.
Thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Okay, move for approval of PC 21-21. Dr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. La Rochelle?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Mr. Bennett?
Aye.
And Ms. Rose?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Well, that is it for the public hearings. No, not tonight. It's almost 9 o'clock. I know we have just a few other brief things to go over. The first is one that I want to have just a brief discussion on, and I'm going to need some volunteers. The bound strategic plan that you just received is the final product of the consultant's work, and that has been approved by the board. With that approval, we're now going into the next phase, which is to look at the strategic plan, look at the comp plan, and make commensurate revisions to the comp plan in order to get more consistency with the vision of New Kent. From there, once the comp plan has been revised, then the zoning ordinance will tackle the zoning ordinance rewrite, which is going to be a very heavy lift. But for probably the next year to year and a half, we're going to be working on the comp plan revision. In order to do that, we have to first obtain a contractor consultant to do the work, the majority of the review and everything that goes into making revisions to the comp plan. On July 27th, Mark and I met with the chair and vice chair of the board, Thomas Evelyn and Tommy Tiller, as well as Kelly and Rodney Hathaway, to discuss a path going forward. For the first iteration, the first order of business is to develop an RFP for the consultant, get that out, get bid proposals back in, and evaluate those, and make a selection for the comp plan revision process. So what we'd like to do, even though all the planning commissioners are going to be involved in the comp plan review, for the procurement of the consultant, we'd like to have a smaller group, hopefully getting some wide representation for, we're thinking five people to be on a subcommittee for the development of the RFP and procurement. So I know I'm going to be on that subcommittee, and Mark is as well. So we probably need I'm thinking three more people, and it's going to take it'll take a few extra meetings to go through the process. We'll have a meeting to develop the RFP that will go out. Then once they receive the bids, then we'll have at least one meeting for each of the applicants that make the cut to have interviews, and then the selection process. So there'll be several more meetings. Is anybody particularly interested in doing that? I know some people have more experience with an RFP process in general, but we want to get people involved in this whole process, because it isn't just it's going to be a long haul.
I think Mr. Bennett already volunteered me. Did he care to respond?
Well, it was a volunteer, but the item that the topic we discussed was to have one representative from each district as a minimum, to represent those districts in the RFP process. It doesn't mean it has to be, but that would be ideally what would happen. Now, I'll be willing to share that with you, Mr. Davis, whatsoever. No, you don't have to move. Okay. So.
Now I know there's nobody here from District 2 tonight.
Yeah.
John and Katie are both absent. So we could volunteer one,
yeah.
But
even volunteer. But it's to keep it narrow enough but broad enough as in representation. Yeah. There. I would hope that Mr. Davis would still join us. As the vice chair currently, I would still have my role backing our chair up, so I'd be in part of that process in anyway. So if Mr. Davis would like to, I would certainly encourage that.
I'm happy to serve if that's.
Okay.
If you want one from each district, then that's fine. But I mean, I'm happy to serve if needed.
We just want to get a reasonable cross section, and I don't know. Maybe I can talk, give John and Katie a call and see which one of them wants to.
Teresa, as for District 3, I would rather not, if you would like to serve. Because I have a lot
She was
going
thinking
on.
the same thing.
I can represent District 3 then.
At large, is District 4 represented already with the, because I'm happy to do it. I don't have much experience with RFPs or anything, but if you take a new guy on, I don't mind helping out.
New's not bad.
No. Yeah. Yeah, those most of those are going to be during the day for this part of the process. Yeah. So if you really can't do it, then it's not a problem. This is voluntary.
Better be voluntary now than promoted or assigned later, right?
Voluntold.
But to confirm, there's nothing in the immediate future. Like, I'm gonna be gone for like 4 weeks.
I
next
think
4 weeks.
No, I don't really think, because we're going to have to get geared up to just get the RFP developed. And I know Rodney said they had somewhat of a template, but I think we're going to have to beef it up. And then the other part of that in preparation would be getting the criteria developed. You know, how we're going to rank the different proposals. But I don't see all that happening in the next.
It's not like
weeks.
we're starting from the word "the."
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
We're starting with "the" and blah blah blah. So there'll be a flow to it that we're basically using a template that's already been tweaked, but we need to tweak it more for our community. Then yeah.
Which I'm pulling out on Wednesday. That's why I'm asking. So if it's
No, if we can just get the core group established, and then I'm going to communicate with Rodney, and then we'll try and get a meeting scheduled at the earliest convenience. But it's going to be several weeks.
In the timeline we were discussing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but once the RFP has been lit and a consultant chosen, probably looking at a comp plan process was like 12 to 18 months, if my memory serves, okay?
Yeah.
And then after that, it's rolling over into the zoning ordinances, which will probably be every bit of 12 to 18 months for that. So this is a long process work, but we might as well get it right from the get-go than keep amending ordinances later in the day.
And we want to be able to pick a good contractor up front that can do the comp plan work first, but then we also talked about the potential for them, if they already know our comp plan, if they're qualified and they've got a good process, it could roll right into the zoning ordinance rewrite. But and also looking at the budget items, because we're going to get the proposals back. You know, Rodney has a rough number that he's looking at, but part of it is going to be trying to establish that budget number for the start next year. So.
She's questioning, I can
tell. Your brow is a little furrowed.
It's during the day that's the issue.
Yeah.
And
It's during the day. Is this what you're
Well, the meetings for developing the RFP and choosing the contractor are predominantly going to be during the day. The rest of it will be other times, and that's going to be the lion's share of the work is reviewing work product, providing comments, that type of thing. So this is just the first step.
And if you've never been through a comprehensive plan process or zoning process, it's a lot of, hopefully the contractor, the consultant is interviewing or town meetings and getting input from the citizenry that they're compiling it, letting us digest it, help focus it or whatever. Yeah. So it's a lot of information that'll be over the course of the 12 to 18 months, and then occurs again for the zoning ordinance. But it's not like we're putting all the Lego parts together. We're help forming it.
I'm off on Fridays. I can make time during work, but I can't do it repetitively. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'll do my best.
Okay.
That's excellent.
Make sure you talk to who's on your team.
Yeah. I'll talk to Pat. I'll send all three of them an email, and
we can finalize it next month.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, I think Thomas and Tommy would still want to be part of that or assign that to somebody at the board level for the RFP. Is that correct? Was that part of the discussion, if I remember correctly? Because I think I said I thought it was putting the announcement all on her or us. Okay, okay, okay. I'll leave that as, but maybe a review in the notes. I think they one or two.
Excuse me. The board will be here at our meeting in September for discussion as well.
And I did plan my vacations around the meetings. I'll be back in time for the next one.
Very good. Good job.
So Kelly, I will let you know now, I will not be here in September. I already have a work obligation that Monday evening there. I will not be here.
Well, we won't volunteer you for too much. Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty much it on that piece for now. So we'll I'll talk to the others that weren't here, and then we'll go from there, and we'll keep everybody apprised of the process and how it's progressing. Yeah, there's only going to be probably a few proposals that they get from consultants. I mean, there's some that are local. You know, we got one from it was a firm that they did more of a joint venture with a firm from Ohio and Northern Virginia. So, you know, never know what we're going to get, but it's not going. I don't think we'll be flooded with proposals. So, all right. Well, with that, I really don't have anything else for specific chairman's report. That's the biggest thing on our plate right now. And let's see, John's not here, so there's no plan RVA report. Does any of the other commissioners have anything to report, comment on anything?
Not for the record, but they just became the pride grandfather for my fourth grandchild 2 weeks ago. So.
Oh, congratulations! Awesome.
That's why he's missing us.
Oh, okay.
That's
Is that why you're going to miss us?
Yeah,
Actually, no.
Oh,
Visiting the in-laws in Colorado.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good too.
My daughter's moving to Hawaii in September.
Ooh, nice. Kelly, you have a staff report? Okay.
Aside from the joint meeting with the board next month, we did get a rezoning in. I'm sure you're all aware of the work going on across the street at the Ordinary. We had the rezoning for Mr. Kinney a couple of years ago to do the event space over there. He has since purchased the Hoover House, old Judge Hoover's old office across the street, and wants to incorporate that as part of their project. So it needs to get rezoned from R2 to the Courthouse Development District. So that's a pretty simple rezoning for next month as far as public hearings go.
Did he purchase the little green one too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Because he destroyed the other one.
Yep. They bought the property, tore down the old house, or I don't know if that was the house or the office, but they want to convert the existing structure that is left into the office for the Ordinary.
Are they adjacent?
Yes.
Parcels?
Yes.
Is he not extinguishing lot lines or anything?
No, that's not part of the plan.
That's not a historic house since it used to be a common attorney's office.
It is historic. And he said he's going to have a big open house and a welcoming, and everyone's going to go get to see the inside of the Ordinary, so that'll be kind of cool.
Kelly, I do have one question for you.
Yeah.
Could you identify the activities going on at the old, or with the former polo field?
A little bit, John. Cody? It's rehab.
Yeah, they're basically taking it back and putting it in its original agricultural state. The original owner bought it, rebought it, and now they're just putting it back. They're restoring it.
Oh, okay. Because I knew, Kelly, you had said that they were not developing it, but yet there was so much land disturbance. You know, we thought there must be something else going on.
They had to take out. They had a bunch of culverts and stuff underneath that they had to remove.
They just pulled out everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going back to being a farm. So, essentially.
Coming to an AFD application near
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where that little wooded area is, and it goes back into that field.
Yeah.
The Harrison property.
And they're timbering across the road. They're not putting anything else there or behind the farmer's market. We got a lot of calls about that, but they're not doing anything with that right now. So.
No Cracker
No.
Not yet.
Oh, God.
Make sure you tell Krista I said.
I will. Anything else for me? All right. Thanks, guys.
Well, I think that is it. The next meeting is Monday, September 20th, and it will be as we said, a joint meeting with the board. So keep it.
To go over this? Or to go over the comp plan?
No, to go
over this.
Yeah.
They just want to come and have a
been about 3-4 years.
Yeah.
I don't think that way. Just the rezoning part, but we'll get to that after.
Mark, did you get the vote back down here?
Yes, it is.
Did we adjourn? Was there?
Yeah. Yeah. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So we're getting out, yes.
Okay, Mark made the motion.
Thank you.
9:12. Yeah, have fun, Joe. That's awesome.
Our first stop is pretty much dead right on there.
Oh no, really?